friends. Today I am talking about three most important epoch-making contributions Samuel Hahnemann made to medical science, which were gone ignored and unrecognized by the scientific community so far. This is part of my highly ambitious attempts to reinvent Hahnemann and homeopathy in the light of advanced scientific knowledge and get him placed in the right stature he deserves in the history of modern science. What were the three important contributions Hahnemann made to scientific knowledge? Contribution number one. First of all, it was Hahnemann who, for the first time in the history of biological sciences, discovered the phenomenon of competitive relationship between certain substances in acting upon biological processes and producing similar molecular errors and similar symptoms. He developed this observation into a wonderful tool for his novel therapeutic interventions, which he called similia similibus curantur. He observed that if a particular substance can produce in healthy individuals a set of symptoms similar to a particular disease, that disease could be cured by using that particular substance. If symptoms produced by a particular disease as well as symptoms produced by a particular substance are similar, that means the disease producing substance as well as the particular drug substance has some similar properties by which they could compete each other to interfere in same biological processes. It has to be specifically noted that Hahnemann made this wonderful discovery 200 years ago when modern scientific knowledge was only in its primitive stage of evolution. During that time, modern biochemistry had not evolved. Nothing was known about the molecular structure of substances or the molecular interactions involved in biological processes. Due to these historical limitations of scientific knowledge available to him, Hahnemann could not go deeper into the molecular mechanism of this competitive relationship between similar substances. Modern biochemistry has explained the molecular mechanism of this phenomenon very clearly now. While explaining the phenomenon of competitive inhibitions, especially in enzyme kinetics. It is well known now that similarity of disease symptoms and drug-induced symptoms indicate similarity of affected biological pathways, target molecules, similarity of constituent molecules, as well as similarity of functional groups of those molecules. This similarity is the basis of the competitive relationship as well as the basis of the phenomenon explained in biochemistry as competitive inhibitions. Sad part of this story is that nobody recognized the truth that Samuel Hahnemann had observed this phenomenon of competitive relationship between chemical molecules as the basis of this new therapeutic method. Scientific community did not give due merit to Hahnemann for this great invention or even mention his name anywhere in biochemistry literature. I consider this as a grave injustice done to Samuel Hahnemann by modern scientific community, which they should rectify at least now, even though much late. Then let us come to contribution number 2 of Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. It was Samuel Hahnemann who invented that ultra-diluted or post-Avogadro preparations of drug substances are not nothing, but can retain some therapeutic properties of original drug substances, and they could be used as therapeutic agents. Hahnemann made this wonderful observation and utilized it for preparing therapeutic agents for the new therapeutic method he developed. Even after 200 years of its inception and successful application, modern scientific community could not even understand whether this phenomenon really exists or not. It is after the advancement of modern supramolecular chemistry and the advent of modern molecular imprinting technology that people started realizing that conformational properties of a chemical molecule could be saved into certain supramolecular matrices, and these molecular imprints could be used as recognition sites or binding pockets for molecules having conformational similarity. Researchers are going on to use this technology of molecular imprinting for developing a whole new range of designer drugs all over the world. Hahnemann could not explain his observations on this subject regarding ultra high dilutions scientifically, as the knowledge of molecular imprinting as well as polymer properties of water had not even started to evolve during his period. But modern scientific community should recognize the contributions of Samuel Hahnemann in the primitive stage of molecular imprinting 200 years ago, and he should be rightly adorned as the father of molecular imprinting technology. Contribution number 3 of Dr. Samuel Hahnemann to scientific knowledge. Scientific meaning and implications of concept of miasms introduced by Samuel Hahnemann is not still properly understood, not only by modern scientists but homeopathy community also, who claim to be faithful followers of their master. Hahnemann observed that various chronic disease dispositions are produced due to the long-term residual effects of infectious diseases, which he called miasms. Miasms are produced by the long-term residual effects of infectious diseases. He considered these miasms as the root cause of diverse kinds of chronic diseases, as well as various obstacles to cure, even when right semilimum is applied. It is obvious that owing to the primitive stage of life sciences that existed during his period, Hahnemann could not scientifically explain how the residual effects of acute infectious diseases remain in the body for the whole lifespan of the individual and produce chronic diseases as well as act as obstacles to cure. But the relevance and implications of his miasm concept becomes evident when we approach it utilizing the advanced scientific knowledge available to us now. But scientific community did not take up this task as they considered all ideas proposed by Hahnemann were unscientific and mere fancies. For them, Hahnemann was not a person to be taken seriously. Answer to the fundamental question involved in the concept of miasms is clear now. Question is how the residual effects of acute infectious diseases remain in the body for the whole lifespan of the individuals and produce chronic diseases as well as act as obstacles to cure. Answer lies in what we call antibodies. Any infectious agent entering the body initiates a process of generating antibodies as part of immune mechanism. These antibodies remain in the body for long periods and in most cases lifelong. Even though these antibodies are considered to be defense molecules, they can bind to various off-target biological molecules and produce their inhibitions. These off-target molecular inhibitions caused by antibodies are the exact molecular factors that underlie the phenomenon Hahnemann called as miasms. To be more specific and comprehensive, miasms are chronic disease dispositions produced in the body by the off-target actions of biological molecules caused by antibodies generated in the body against alien proteins or proteins that do not fit to the genetic blueprint of the individual. Once explained in scientific terms, the concept of miasms proposed by Samuel Hahnemann becomes a great scientific invention. Actually, all those hundreds of chronic diseases presently classified as autoimmune diseases are caused by off-target actions of antibodies and hence could be considered miasmatic diseases. This new vision will have great implications in dealing with those so-called autoimmune diseases and pave the way for developing drugs to treat such diseases. To sum up, Hahnemann has made fundamental contributions in the study of competitive inhibitions, molecular imprinting, drug designing technology, and also autoimmune antibody-mediated diseases, which were neglected by scientific community. But now MIT, by explaining Hahnemann's ideas using modern scientific knowledge and its paradigms, is trying to get due recognition our master deserved in the history as a pioneer of applying modern scientific knowledge in the field of therapeutics. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. We'll come back with another video shortly.